Our world is just packed with these incredible places, stories written in stone, and landscapes that honestly look like they're from another planet. So, where do you even begin? Well, that's exactly what we're going to try and figure out.
Yeah, the task sounds pretty much impossible, right? How do you take 100 of the most amazing locations on Earth and squeeze them into a single journey? Well, the first step is you find a really good guide.
So, we're leaning on Ryan Shirley's amazing guide, Top 100 Places to Visit on Earth. But here's the thing. We're not just going to list them off one by one. Nope. We're going a little deeper, grouping these wonders into themes to really get at the heart of what makes our planet so incredible.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll kick things off with these incredible monuments of human ingenuity. Then we'll dive into nature's own, kind of surreal canvas. After that, we're pushing to the very edge of the world. And finally, well, that's when we turn it over to you. Ready? Let's do this.
Okay, first up, monuments of human ingenuity. I mean, these are the places where our ancestors really left their mark on the world in ways that are, honestly, hard to wrap your head around.
And our source material just nails it when talking about the pyramids of Giza. Millions of massive stone blocks. It's just hard to comprehend. And that feeling, that sense of awe at something so massive it feels impossible, that's where we're going to start.
Right, so let's start in Egypt. The pyramids of Giza. They've been standing for thousands of years as a monument to, well, what exactly? Most people think they were tombs for pharaohs, but how they were built, and even their true purpose, is still a huge debate.
Okay, now let's jump continents and fast forward a few thousand years, high up into the Andes Mountains in Peru. This is Machu Picchu. And it wasn't a tomb, it was actually a sacred estate for a living Incan emperor, built way back around 1450 AD.
I mean, just think about that for a second. The ancient Egyptians built these colossal structures on a totally flat desert. The Incas? They engineered an entire city that's literally clinging to a mountain ridge. Two completely different cultures, with different goals, but both achieved something timeless.
And speaking of monumental efforts, look at this number, $1 billion. That's the estimated cost in today's money to build India's Taj Mahal back in the 1600s. And it wasn't for a god or a king's legacy. It was built as a spectacular tomb, a monument of love for an emperor's favorite wife. All right, so we've seen what humanity can build, but what about the planet itself? Let's switch gears and check out nature's canvas, a gallery of landscapes so strange and beautiful they almost feel like they're from a different world.
And just how otherworldly are we talking about? Well, get this. Our source points out that the Zhangjiajie Mountains in China were the actual inspiration for those floating mountains in the movie Avatar. I mean, come on. It's like nature created science fiction before we even thought of it.
Next up, we're in Bolivia at the Uyuni Salt Flats. It's this massive, blindingly white landscape. But then, when it rains, a thin layer of water covers everything, and it becomes the world's largest mirror. The sky is literally above you and below you. The horizon just vanishes. Okay, now for a number that's just kind of hard to process. 20%. That is how much of the entire world's surface freshwater is held in one single place, Lake Baikal in Siberia. One lake, a fifth of the planet's freshwater. And it's not just vast, it is incredibly deep. Lake Baikal goes down over 1,600 meters. That is over a mile straight down into the earth. Just try to picture that for a second. A vertical mile of fresh water. So we've gone from deep water to deep time. How deep? 110 million years. That is the insane age of Australia's Daintree rainforest, which is thought to be the oldest one on the planet. It's not a fossil, it's a living, breathing world that's been around since the dinosaurs. All right, let's move on to our final theme, adventures at the world's edge. These are not places you can just pop into for a quick photo. They demand a real journey, and they reward you with some of the most spectacular, untouched beauty imaginable. First stop, Angel Falls in Venezuela. At 979 meters, it's the world's tallest, uninterrupted waterfall. The water drops for almost a full kilometer before it hits anything. It's mind-boggling. But getting there? That's half the adventure.
And reaching it is a mission. You start with a flight into a remote town. Then you spend a whole day on a boat going upriver. Only then do you get to the base of this beast. This is not a tourist stop. It's a full-on expedition.
From the jungle to the wild Atlantic Ocean,
The Skellig Islands, just off the coast of Ireland, they represent a whole different kind of journey. Not just about distance, but about faith and sheer will to survive.
So picture this. It's the 6th century. Monks build these amazing stone beehive huts by hand, and they choose to live on this remote, storm-beaten island that you can only get to by a rough hour-long boat ride. I mean, talk about extreme devotion.
And for our last spot on the edge of the world, this description of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula just says it all. It's a land of raw, volcanic power, so remote there are literally no roads connecting it to the rest of the country. Just true, wild, untamed nature.
So wow, we've journeyed through human history, we've stood in front of nature's masterpiece art, and we've gone to these remote frontiers. So what's the big takeaway here? It's a pretty powerful realization about this planet we call home. You know, whether it was carved by human hands thousands of years ago, or painted by nature's impossible forces, or just tucked away at the very edges of the map, our world is just this incredible tapestry of wonders. Each little thread tells a different story, and they're all out there, just waiting. So, after this whirlwind tour, the real question is for you. Which one calls to you the most? Is it the mystery of ancient history, the wild beauty of some surreal landscape, or maybe the challenge of a real adventure? Something to think about. That's all for now. We'll see you next time.